Good evening, my viewers. This is George Ondek with my special show, Meet and Greet the Leaders of Northern Westchester, Putnam. And I'm very honored tonight to have Mary Ellen Odell, the Putnam County Executive, on with me. How you doing, Mary Ellen?
I'm great. Thank you, George. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And Mary Ellen, we seem to be bumping into each other quite a bit lately. And I have to tell my viewers, I'm a disabled Vietnam vet, and you were at a ceremony the other day for veterans. We renamed a bridge in Putnam, the DAV Bridge in Putnam Valley,
Putnam
New
Valley,
York.
correct, yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that and how you feel about veterans and what you did for the last 3 days? Something about Washington, D.C.
That Friday was a great kickoff to a great weekend for not only myself, but for our veterans in the Hudson Valley. Senator Ball and Assemblywoman Galiff, as you know, sponsored legislation to rename the Bryant Pond Bridge the Disabled Veterans, which was it's a terrific way to say thank you. You can never say thank you enough to our veterans. And, I always enjoy being with our veterans, and that was really a wonderful morning. And it was the start of a weekend for me where I got to spend Saturday with World War II vets. I attended my third honor flight. Yeah, I attended my third honor flight.
Tell our viewers what that was all about.
Well, the honor flight is a program. It's a national program, but here in the Hudson Valley, they have had, I think I was on the 6th honor flight, mission they call it, where they invite World War II veterans, and they're accompanied by a guardian, of which I had the honor and the privilege of being a guardian for the third time. And this trip, we left Westchester Airport at about 7 a.m., flew into Reagan International Airport in Washington, D.C., and had police escorts throughout our capital, where we visited first the World War II Memorial, and I had the great pleasure of meeting former Senator Bob Dole.
Yes.
From Kansas, a veteran,
I saw
American
him on
hero
News 12 today.
Himself, and
when Ms. Reyes, the news commentator for News 12,
yes, she sat behind me actually on the plane.
Person?
Yeah, News 12 accompanied us, and so from the memorial and spending time with Senator Dole, we went to Arlington Cemetery, attended the ceremony for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Then we went on to the Marine Corps Monument, which is the Iwo Jima
What did you think of that ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier? I was there many years ago. My wife and I spent our honeymoon in that area.
I think you told me that.
And it was beautiful to
me that.
see what precision marching they do, and in all times of weather, all year long.
I've seen that ceremony personally at least 10, if not 12 times over my lifetime. And no matter how many times you attend that ceremony, it's incredibly moving, and it's a very, as you say, there's so much precision and so much quiet pageantry to it, but there's so much honor. It's all about honor, and it's all about respect.
And I understand those World War II vets, many of whom are 90 years old and
Yes.
above now,
Yes.
were given this day and flight for free
Yes.
by...
The Honor Flight ShopRite is one of the sponsors. There's
Great
some
store,
terrific
by the way.
corporations in Westchester County and in the Hudson Valley that help sponsor the trip, and it's all made possible by the generosity of many great individuals. And the executive director, Becky Boone, and Brian Marr and Frank Miller, that their team together, really they go out of their way to make sure that the trip is easy for our veterans. It's filled with a lot of patriotic moments. There's the water cannons when you land in the airports. They're greeted by military bands playing patriotic songs and songs from that era. They're very well attended to. You know, they are in their 80s and 90s, although I have to say a lot of them had a lot more energy than I did.
Really?
At the end of the night. Yeah. It's really, it's a wonderful honor and a privilege to be part of that experience, you know, to spend time with the greatest generation.
And getting back to the bridge, I'm past commander of the DAV, Chapter 173, Northern Westchester, I think Putnam too. And what an honor for the disabled American veterans to have a bridge named after them. We hear about the Purple Heart having things named after them, but many of the disabled vets do not have a Purple Heart. They could have been injured in training or injured in other ways in combat zones. So it's good that disabled American veterans are being honored now.
Yeah, well, as I said, you know, Putnam County is a very patriotic county, and we are very grateful to have so many of our veterans living within Putnam County borders, and we continue to make sure that they have the services that they are truly
And
entitled to.
I'm hoping in the future you'll pick up on something Senator Ball did, the annual Thanksgiving dinner and the Hall of Fame. Maybe you could make a Putnam County Hall of Fame for veterans if you don't have it already.
Well, I would say that every veteran that we have in Putnam County is already in a Hall of Fame
yes,
for
thank
each and
you.
every one of us.
Thank you.
And the senator has done a terrific job with embracing and
Yes, he
respecting the veterans, and I know that they will miss him. And, you know, as far as the Thanksgiving dinner goes, should we get past November 4th? And I will definitely put that on my
what's coming up in
list of
2 weeks
to-dos.
from now? You mentioned November 4th. I know you've had 3 years in office.
Yeah.
Will this be your first full term after the election?
If the voters have the confidence
If
in me on November 4th, yes, this will be my first full term.
Now, Ms. Odell, why should the voters have confidence in you? What are some of your accomplishments in the past 3 years? How have you done on the budget in Putnam and other areas?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. You know, I'm very proud of the team that we put together. And on the day that we took office, you know, when I got up to the 3rd floor, we you know, we looked down a hallway that had no lights on and the doors were closed, and we knew that we had to take our vision and develop a plan, and we knew that we needed to put the right people in place to execute that plan, and we have, and we've delivered, and we've kept our promises. We promised that we would meet the cap every year, and we have, in spite of Albany increasing the unfunded mandates. We have underspent our budget, actually, in the last 2 years, and we do plan to do the same for this year. And we've really engaged in our business community. Putnam County is a county of Main Street. That's what drives our economy. We have 6 towns and 3 villages, and you know, we have engaged them in some of our larger projects, talking about transportation. You know, we rebranded our transportation system. We're calling it now Putnam Moves, mobility being so important to our veterans, as we just spoke about, but also to our seniors.
Right.
And it's a very costly, expensive process, transportation. But by renegotiating and finding efficiencies, we've been able to save $1 million right off the bat.
Wow. How
Yeah.
did you do that?
We renegotiated the contract
Oh, wow.
with the vendor called MV, and with engaging the Chamber of Commerce in an advertising campaign, we'll be offsetting some of the costs with advertising revenue, which is a great win-win for everyone. Not only will the advertising dollars help offset the costs, but it allows our businesses, our Putnam County Chamber of Commerce, to showcase their businesses and advertising on the buses themselves, inside and outside, and on the shelters. So our administration's been working 7 days, 7 nights a week since
And
November
aren't
11th.
chambers of commerce great things? I do a
Yeah.
lot in Westchester with chambers of commerce
Right.
and grand opening of businesses. Maybe I could help the Putnam County Chambers of Commerce do some ribbon cutting ceremonies.
That would be terrific. You know, anything that we can do to promote local business, local economy in our county is very important, because sales tax is really a major revenue stream, if
And
you
I
will.
want to talk about a couple of your appointments. I think you made an excellent appointment with Miss Libby Pataki, the governor's wife, with your tourism of Putnam County. Do you want to talk about tourism? And by the way, I want to mention this. Governor George Pataki, who's from Peekskill, we still consider him Peekskill.
Right.
I heard an announcement by him yesterday that he's thinking of possibly running for president next year because he doesn't like the field of candidates that are out there.
Well, that's exciting.
It is.
It's very exciting. And Libby and George are Putnam County residents.
Yes.
And they're always there to help. George actually just spoke at our Economic Development Corporation breakfast about 2 weeks ago. You know, he understands the importance of engaging the business community, particularly in Putnam County, because, you know, we don't have cities and we don't have a lot of opportunity for growth because we are a watershed county. So we have to maximize the potential for, you know, to the best of our abilities. And because we are a Main Street driven economy, it's really important that Libby, as our Director of Tourism, works hand in glove with Megan Taylor, our president
Oh,
of
yes,
the
I'd like to
EDC.
mention her, another excellent appointment made by you.
Yeah.
And how is economic development coming along in Putnam? I think we had her on the last show I had you on with.
Right, yeah, we were talking about the hotel possibilities in Garrison, which is moving along very nicely. And, you know, the Butterfield Hospital project on the western part of the county is a very exciting opportunity for economic growth and development. You know, within that project will be some retail and affordable housing, but most importantly, from where I sit as county executive, it's an opportunity for a brand new state-of-the-art nutrition friendship center for our seniors.
By the way, I hear you mentioned nutrition, and I know I don't look it, but I'm a senior citizen. And I hear many senior citizens in other parts of my county, Westchester, idolizing Mayapack's senior citizen center you have there. What do you think about seniors, and what do you plan to do to help seniors in your next term if you are reelected on November 4th?
Well, we'll continue doing what we had started this year. We declared 2014 to be the year of the senior. And a lot of that came by the fact that my grandmother was turning 100 on April 24th. Yeah. And so we've initiated a lot of programs, a lot of, again, engaging mobility transportation programs. We're inviting them on shopping trips around the area for food shopping, clothes shopping, Christmas tree shops. They seem to enjoy that. And we've had some great events at the Putnam County Golf Course, which is becoming the hottest tourist destination in the Hudson Valley. I'm so proud to say, you know, one of our accomplishments was turning that facility around. You know, the golf facility itself has undergone a lot of improvements, and the reviews are tremendous and positive. And the banquet facility, thanks to Al Shefatelli and his team in Homestyle Catering, we're now we're having weddings there.
Weddings?
For the first time, right. And then all of that was possible by the partnership that was created with the DEP and the DEC and paving the parking lot at the facility.
I hear you have many excellent golf courses too. Is
we have one very excellent.
One? There's one in Garrison. There's one.
Well, I thought you were talking about county-owned golf course. We're very proud of our county-owned golf course.
That's the one where Mr. Ball has the Thanksgiving dinner, or is
that? That is the Putnam. No, it is.
Yeah,
That's the Putnam County Golf Course, right? Which has just undergone some, you know, terrific renovations, and this summer we had this awesome summer with Friday night barbecues where we had live entertainment, some terrific bands. One night the Nerds came up from New Jersey and packed the house, 1,000
you had nerds in
people
Putnam
there.
County.
Very talented nerds. Never underestimate.
Right. Can't underestimate the nerds.
That's right.
Do you have old car shows too and things?
Not yet, but I like that idea.
That's something good for the future.
I like that idea. I know that car shows are very popular in Putnam County. There's several events. Right. Yeah. I think the Patterson Barbecue is a good place that showcases, you know, some of the classics.
What's happening in the town of Brewster? Is there a lot of development starting to
happen
there?
There's a comprehensive
and revitalize plan. I have a friend who lives in Brewster.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a comprehensive plan that the county's partnering with the village, Mayor Schonig and his team, his board of trustees, and it's a private-public partnership, if you will. Harold Lepler, who's a real estate developer investor, is part of the team, and the task force there meets, I think it's monthly, and discusses the future. You know, what are the needs? How do you meet the needs? What's best for the community? Integrating the community. We've done some improvements over there in partnership with the DEP for some hiking trails and sidewalk improvements. Again, all tourist-driven, you know, tourism, again.
And you like to keep Putnam County green. I know you want some development, but It's so beautiful. Many people move up from the
Right.
city, from Yonkers, for a better life. And your school systems
Well, I'm
are
one of
very
them.
good. And
My
I'm
parents are one of them.
and
But balance is important.
my son is one of them.
Balance
with his
is, I
fine
know,
family.
in the town of Kent.
Yes.
Balance is very important. And the village of Brewster is really the hub of the Harlem Valley, if you will, with the train station right there. So
Right.
there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there. And we have our first craft brewery.
Oh,
The
wow.
Bull and Barrel opened.
Oh, you're getting like Pete's skill
Yeah,
now. We have our
entrepreneurs,
own
right,
brewery
right
there.
in the village of Brewster. Yeah, it's very
And
exciting.
You have to have a festival. We had a sock hop festival, and it drew
Oh, they
thousands
do. They
of
have
people.
Founders Day. They have
Yes.
Libby actually hosted our second International Cycling Classic.
that's
and,
nice.
and it was hosted in the village of Brewster this time.
I'd like to get back to you on the budget.
Sure.
Like you've kept it under that 2% or about
Which isn't really a
2%.
2%.
Now,
but
how do you achieve that? I've talked to other people, or I've heard of other towns or
Right.
cities, 10% raise, 20% raise. How do you feel you handle the taxpayers' money? Do you handle it as your own, or when you go to spend money for the
Right.
county?
Well, what we have done, we started on day one as far as building efficiencies and incorporating them in our plan. And we have brought some terrific folks in from the private sector who are now working alongside many of the individuals who have made a career of government public service. And it's interesting, you don't think that they come from two different places in the workplace, but yet they're so engaging together and sharing ideas. And that's how we've been able to find a lot of our efficiencies, is having our administration and our workforce work together and share collective ideas. Meeting the tax cap is very difficult, particularly when it's not 2%. When every year it seems to drop. I think this year we're at 1.66 is where we had to hit it.
They're dropping it, huh? And that's in spite of state mandates
Correct.
where they force you to spend more money.
Well,
so you cut in other areas.
They not only force us, but they make sure that we provide programs that we believe in.
Yes.
But they don't give us any opportunity to find efficiencies within them. They just hand us the bill. And in our budget in Putnam County, 71% of every dollar goes directly to Albany, which leaves us very little to provide, by the way, good roads, safe roads, keep our bridges strong, to keep our road patrol, to keep our deputies on the road in safe vehicles and have the equipment that they need, to make sure our Bureau of Emergency Services is up and ready in the case of an event, whether it's weather-related or terrorist-related, to keep our libraries open, to keep our museums funded. I'll put it in dollars for you. We have a $145 million budget this year that the legislature is working to put their hand on, and 103 of it goes right up to Albany.
Wow.
And the rest is there for us to manage our roads, to manage our road patrol, to manage our Bureau of Emergency Services, and so on. So it's a battle, it's a struggle, but we've stayed in front of it. I like to say we're a team that stays on offense. We very rarely go on defense.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a lot of members of your team working together with you on these
The county
projects?
workforce in total is a little under 700. And so we have the CSEA union, and they've been terrific. We renegotiated their contract that was left on the table when we came on board. Our PBA, our sheriffs, the deputies, and the support staff.
You have a very fine police force throughout.
Yeah, it was we have a very
Putnam
strong,
County.
dedicated workforce
Have many
under the leadership
sheriffs.
of Don Smith. And of course, we're very proud to say that we are the safest county again in New York State.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that not only comes from funding, but it comes from pride, I believe. We have a terrific group of individuals who are part of this law enforcement team.
I may have left out one or two things during the show. Is there something that you really want to talk about that I haven't brought up thus far or so far?
Well, we could talk about what's happening in Putnam County in the next week that Libby is promoting right now at Tilly Foster Farm, which is another county-owned facility. Tilly Foster Farm has undergone a different change of stewardship, if you will. The county is now working with the private-public partnership model, much like we did with the golf course, to bring the gates open again for the public for Tilly Foster Farm. And this coming weekend is Pumpkin Palooza.
What's Pumpkin Palooza?
Pumpkin Palooza is a day where kids and families and seniors can come on up and visit the farm and carve some pumpkins, enjoy some pie, listen to music.
Sounds good. Where's that going to take place?
Tilly
at?
Foster Farm.
Tilly Foster
Yep,
Farm.
yep.
For my
located in
viewers who
Southeast.
don't know where that is.
Right off Exit 19.
Exit 19 off of...
Put it on MapQuest. Tilly Foster Farm.
Okay. Oh, MapQuest. That's one of them newfangled
There you
gadgets
go.
that I
Right.
don't
You
use.
can Google it up
I
on your
should.
iPhone. And speaking of iPhone, something else I think that we haven't talked about that I'd like to is our app. We have, this year, we're proud to have announced at the State of the County that we designed a new app called Putnam County Cares. The original thought behind it was to get in front of suicide and speak. Suicide prevention,
that's one of the
education
most
awareness kit
important.
is the first button on there. Our veterans are suffering from it as well as our youth. And we're also engaging a new program called One Army on the War on Addiction, which I
Yes.
announced at our budget address. And basically
so
what we're
many-
doing is we're bringing all of the not-for-profits and the business community and county government together to build one army.
There's-
Instead of all the little companies out there, one army to fight this war on
There's so many of our
epidemic on
young
addiction.
people who are getting addicted on heroin and similar drugs, and you need programs that educate them, such as yours, to get them away from
Well,
things.
the app, Putnam County Cares, is a wonderful tool for parents who are not sure if their child is maybe tempted by drug abuse. And
Miss Odell, do
yeah.
you have many programs for teens in your county?
we have
Or
the
do you-
Youth Bureau. The Youth
Uh-huh.
Bureau does a great job, and actually they're the ones who have been most helpful with the app in helping parents identify if their child is maybe being exposed or dabbling around with pharmaceuticals or marijuana or alcohol. This app, this resource tool allows parents to answer questions and gives them a sense of whether or not they should be concerned and where to go for help.
And on 2 weeks from today, it'll be Election Day.
Right.
You running with a team, or are there any people you recommend who people should vote for in the next week or two, other than yourself?
Well, I'm very proud to have the endorsement and support of the Republican Party, of which I am a district leader myself, and the Conservative Party and the Independence Party have supported my quest for another 4 more years to be the county executive for Putnam. And alongside of me, I'm honored to say that we have former Congresswoman Nan Hayworth is also sharing in those endorsements, Terrence Murphy for State Senate, Assemblyman Katz is also on that ticket, and then we have other legislators in Putnam County who have the same support that I have, yeah. And to Terrence Murphy, you know, Terrence and I, while we're colleagues in government, he's a councilman in Yorktown, we also share a history of friendship and family that goes back 50 years, and I do
Wow.
know that Terrence is going to be a wonderful state senator.
50 years is a long time. It's as long as I've been married.
Oh, right.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But what an accomplishment that your mom's 100.
My grandmother.
Grandma.
Don't tell my
grandma,
mother that.
grandma,
No, my
grandma.
grandmother.
Cool.
Right.
My mother was 100. She passed away recently, but so that's kind of
Well,
sad.
100 is that's quite a
Quite
mark.
an accomplishment.
Quite a mark, yeah.
Okay. What else is there that we should talk about tonight? I'm shocked that I'm running out of things to say, and this hardly ever happens to me.
I think I have that effect on people, George. I think
Really?
yeah. So I've been told.
Are you still working out these days?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day.
What are your plans for Putnam for the next 4 years if you were to be reelected?
Well, if the people continue to have the confidence in me that I know that they're showing me on the streets every day on November 4th, we're going to continue promoting the Butterfield Project. We're going to continue making sure that our veterans are getting the services that they require. We have put in this year's budget to make the Director of Veterans Affairs a full-time position,
Oh, that's very
understanding that a
nice.
lot of our veterans are not getting their claims for help
Right.
processing
And
time.
isn't that a shame, too, through the VA, there are so many claims by veterans and care at the VA hospital that gets put off for months, sometimes years before a veteran who served his country gets his just due. That is so wrong.
It is very wrong, and that's why we put the budget together, including the full-time position for the Director of Veterans Affairs. So we're going to continue to build on our vision, and that's to make sure that we're here to offer the best services, to make our roads safe for our kids and our seniors. We're going to make sure that our libraries have all the funding that they need to keep the doors open. They're such a resource these days.
Do surveys get taken every so often along Route 6 entering Putnam County? I know in the past there's been backups there, but I think it's been better when I've gone
There's
to
been some
Putnam
funding
recently.
that I was able to acquire through the DOT and helping facilitate, quicker passage through
right.
Route 6. That's an issue that we've been struggling with,
Yes.
for as long as I've been driving, and that's a long time. That's a long time.
How's-
But again, that adds to mobility, and that adds to commerce. And so those are projects that are on our radar right now.
Anything coming up special in Putnam for the holiday season, Christmas and Hanukkah?
Well, there's always a lot of great events in Putnam County. What the western part of the county does with Boscobel is so beautiful, and
Yes.
Cold Spring lit up so nicely. The Hamlet of Carmel every year
Oh, by
does
the
the
way,
Christmas tree display where they light up
I
Lake
mu-
Lenida.
I must comment to you, my wife and I spend a lot of time in Cold Spring in the summer, and how beautiful it is there to hear the jazz and be by the water, and it's the way it's conducted and is great. But we're in the last minute, Mary Ellen Odell. What do you have finally to say to my viewers, and what is a website or phone number they can reach you at?
Well, I want to say that really the last 3 years have been a wonderful opportunity for me as a public servant. I am not a career politician, and I became a legislator in '06 by invitation because of my work as a community leader. And I've enjoyed the opportunities to be in the company of great people like Libby and George Pataki, and to meet so many hardworking people, our small business owners in this county that are doing so much to help the economy. And I'm looking forward to another 4 years.
And thanks to you, through the Patakis, I met their daughter, who's a famous author now, a #1
She is
bestseller.
a best-selling New York Times best-selling
But
author.
again, I thank you,
Well,
Miss
thanks, George.
Mary Ellen Odell.
Thank
You've
you.
been a great guest on my show. Greet the leaders. And this has been the George Ondek Show. Till next time, but make sure you get out November 4th and vote. Thank you.
All right, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.